I think it's a good idea to every now and then just watch a really, really, really bad movie, because we need to realize that the movies we normally watch aren't so bad. They're actually kind of okay, because we rag on a lot of movies, but this movie is probably the worst movie I've seen in the last decade.
I can easily say this is in my top 5 worst movies I've ever watched in my life.
Thank you, Ice Cube.
Thank you, Ice Cube.
He's not listed as a producer or anything like that, so I probably can't rag on him too much.
Yes.
It's just funny that the poster is like War of the Worlds and then just his face, because like that's the only footage they have, because this is a screen life movie, which basically means the whole thing takes place on a computer screen. So they use FaceTime. And it's just bad. And I think what's worse is it's lazy.
Yeah.
Like, the premise itself isn't lazy.
Oh, make a movie in like a one room.
Yeah, like a one-room idea, like that kind of thing, isn't inherently lazy.
It's been done great by like a lot of movies.
What's lazy is when it's all stock footage of anything that he needs to show. It's the actor's first take for most of it. Where it's like, no, Sandra, no. And I'm like, you wanna take that again, Ice Cube?
They definitely had Ice Cube for 3 hours.
Yep.
On a weekend, but it's not just a one room. We expand a little tiny bit. You know, it's one room and then one room adjacent.
Yes.
But it was very surprising. We're like, I think he's on a green screen. And then he walks to like the back of the room he's in and then like tries to open a door. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the most exciting bit of the movie was realizing that they actually hired a conference room to shoot this whole thing in. But let's go through it because it's bad. We start with just Ice Cube's face as he's logging into his day.
So he works for the NSA. It's every American's fear that they're always watching you.
And he uses his power to spy on his daughter and son.
Literally. And
No one wanted to buy this movie until they whacked like War of the Worlds on it. Like, it feels like that was a last minute addition.
This was definitely called like Cyberbug.
Oh yeah, let's just ruin the surprise later on. The aliens don't want our water or to like enslave us.
And they don't even eat us either.
It's so much worse than that. They want our data or data, depending on who in this movie talks.
The aliens are little nanobots that literally have little proboscises and they like eat SD cards.
They go like, nom, nom, nom.
But not actually SD cards. They don't eat the metal and like hardware and the plastic. They eat the data inside of things.
Yes, they walk up to the SD card and little electrical signals like shoot between it. And the best shot of the movie is when Ice Cube is looking at the data center and it shows like the data centers are full of data with like a battery level
indicator. It's showing the servers and they're draining in real time. Oh my God.
It just makes no sense to begin with. Like, they're eating ones and zeros because if all they wanted was data, we could have fed them junk data. Like, if they came to our orbit and they're like, hey man, tummy rumbling, we're like, okay, we'll just give you junk data. That's not a problem. And they never even bother to explain that it's anything more than that. Like, it's not even electrical signals. It's literally, they somehow want ones and zeros. Like my CD collection they would eat.
Delicious.
Makes no sense. But
okay.
Ice Cube works for the NSA and he's spying on his daughter who is pregnant and we spend 15 minutes doing his daily life. Like, it's an 89-minute movie, so a pretty big chunk of it is just setting up Ice Cube.
It's teams meeting with this person, teams meeting with that person, call daughter, reprimand her. Call son, reprimand him.
Yes, he's like a distant dad. There's a weird message of like he's like the helicopter parent and he learns to not be that because he's like the data hoarding aliens, I guess.
Yes.
It's really, really
it's
weird.
It's an allegory.
He's spying on his kids, even to the point where he's like hacked his daughter's fridge to check if she's eating enough protein. And I guess his justification is he's making sure that her baby is getting enough food, but insane behavior. He's also spying on his daughter's baby daddy, Mark, who is an Amazon delivery driver, but the good kind, where like he's like on time, he's doing his best because it's on Amazon Prime.
They don't use any fake websites or companies. They use like Joe Rogan retweeted this and said like, wow, this guy's a hero.
Maybe that's where all the budget went. It's like a low-key, like, teams can help you beat aliens.
Oh, this is a lot of the movie, by the way. You're seeing it. It's Ice Cube in one shot. It's his laptop camera. It is always there. In every scene, you are seeing Ice Cube's reaction to something.
But the worst part is that none of these actors were told to look at a screen. So none of them are looking below the screen. They're all looking dead down the barrel.
It's very off-putting watching Ice Cube deliver lines into the barrel. He's like, oh my God.
On iPhones, actual FaceTime does redirect your eyeballs. Like, it takes your eyes and like makes it look like you're looking into the camera to like make it feel more connected. But they're using Teams, which doesn't do that. And like they're exclusive using Teams. And I don't actually know what generic FaceTime they're using. They try to make it more interesting visually by not just showing his monitor, like it's not his unchanging monitor. They zoom in, crop around.
Yeah, a lot of Ken Burns tool.
Yeah, and it hurts. It fucking hurts to look at.
It'll zoom in on a video of him, and especially when it's showing like Eva Longoria, and then it'll cut back to him and it'll zoom out from a zoom in of him, like on like from his head or something. It's like a bit off-putting.
And there's some crazy weird stuff where like it seems like maybe the actors changed their lines later because of the way they've cropped in to show Ice Cube's reaction. You see like the top of Eva Longoria's face, but she's still talking, but they're more focused on Ice Cube.
Yeah.
And then like every time they don't like something, they use like a bad connection glitch effect.
Yeah.
They use that to cover the VFX of 90% of the movie because the VFX in this movie are absolute dog shit.
Yes.
Like they are the worst part by far, and they don't even start till almost halfway through the movie.
It's literally like when you get your first like iPhone with like the App Store and you download the free app of like insert car crash like here.
I'll show a few here. It's like the green screen where like the rocket comes in and explodes. That's all of it, and it's all stock footage that you dead set know they just like typed in war footage.
It's like clips from like the Iraq War.
Yeah, there's a moment in the end of the movie where B-2 bombers, or like where 2 stealth bombers are flying.
You see them from the outside, from like someone somehow watching the B-2 bombers.
Yes, which means there's a drone or something else following the B-2 bombers. And it's not the fact that the bombers are watching each other, because they show them on a map and they're like nowhere near each other. They're not within visual sight. But then they cut to footage of inside the cockpit, like Top Gun. But then you see out the window, it's not a stealth bomber.
They're very obviously just like F-24 Raptors or whatever they said they were.
That's the worst part. That's why it feels lazy to me and why it makes me so mad, because they don't bother. But in fairness, it probably is the most fun we've had watching a movie recently, because we're just laughing the whole time.
It was fun because like we could just dissect it.
But then it's really weird that they bothered to spend so much of this movie showing Ice Cube going to his favorite channel on YouTube and just subscribing to Bergenbeard. He watched so many of their videos.
Anytime an action scene would happen or anyone Ice Cube loved was in trouble, he'd be like, "Oh, get the hell out of there, man!"
You know, and he flips his chair one time, like when he thinks Sandra dies, like the only prop in the office. Again, that's why we thought it was green screen for so long.
And then he interacts with the office like, "Oh." Let's jump back to the story. So we get to his regular day, and then his actual job, there's a hacker group who's threatening to expose the government secret. They're saying, we have information on a secret, we're going to drop it soon. And so his job, and it's only him because he's running the graveyard shift. They say that, even though it's the middle of the day. It's 9.
It's 9 a.m. in the
morning. He's doing a 9 to 5, but okay. And he's the only one. And so his job is to track down the IP address and give it to FBI field agents. And then he helps them guide through a building to get to Disruptor.
Which leads to some fantastic things. So basically...
Say that again?
Basically, Ice Cube has the magic ability to click and drag over something, right-click on it, and the drop-down menu will give him exactly what he wants.
Commandeer drone.
The field agent he's working with is on Zoom to him for some reason. Like they're literally just FaceTiming. In the middle of a raid, there's 2 agents and her. They're ahead, and she's holding her phone. So
she has her phone
and in the background
and a
right
9 milli. She's like this.
Yeah. So like, yeah, you do that. So
like the torch
with
and the gun.
torch, and the torch faces forward. But instead, it's selfie camera and this. So that's all
There's
he sees.
so many parts in this movie where someone will be on the front camera and then they'll flip their camera and it'll do like this weird like it's like a PowerPoint slide transition of like them swapping to their back camera.
In the most dramatic moments too, because this woman is walking down. She could get shot at any moment if that's what they think is
Disruptor's
happening.
in there.
Their guns are drawn. And she's every time something happens, she makes sure she double taps to flip the camera so that we see the perfect moment. And it happens with aliens too later on. Like someone's getting it. I think his daughter is getting attacked by an alien, and she's running down. She's like,
Dad,
oh my
you gotta
God,
look
Dad,
at this.
and like continues running. It's absolutely baffling how dumb it is. But Disruptor isn't there.
He was bouncing his IP.
Obviously. How did they not realize that?
Yeah.
Duh. That's like Hacker Group 101. All while this is happening, he's getting phone calls from Sandra, played by Eva Longoria, who's just his friend at NASA.
She's like, damn, the weather's crazy. Do you know anything about this? He's like, I watch cameras for a living. We don't do anything like that.
She's like sending him like live footage, and it's like nighttime, and she's like, this is happening on the West Coast.
But also, he's a boomer who watches a lot of the news. So it's like, he would see like these crazy weather things happening.
Because she's just sending news clips. She's not storm chasing.
The FBI raid goes bad, or like Disruptor's not there. And then that's when the meteors start to fall. So there's like 100, 200, 500 meteors all crashing in. So it's like, oh, mass scale panic. And then it's very quickly changing between, does the government know what's happening first or do people? Because as soon as he finds something, he automatically clicks on like news articles of it happening.
Yep. And full articles, tweets, footage.
Like people are already in the field reporting on the meteors falling.
It's like a CNN article and he's like scrolling through it as well that had just gone up. It's because this movie has like ADHD and like something always has to be happening because they don't want you staring at a static screen. So he goes, oh my God. And then you get the notifications going boom, 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 boom. Something is always happening in this movie. There's no down moments.
Yeah.
It's go, go, go. They're doing the opposite of what you would expect to happen. Like you'd be like, oh, slow, methodical, looking at screens, figuring something out.
The movie does kind of just feel like one run-on like scene.
It hurts itself in that way that it doesn't really ever feel like it escalates because if something is always happening, the movie doesn't have 3 acts. Like the movie has that first 15 minutes and then it has alien invasion.
So the meteors start cracking open. Eva Longoria is in the field.
She gets there super quick.
It turns out the meteors are like just like big eggs and the alien ships are in them.
That's probably from the book.
Probably, but I haven't read the book. I only know the Tom Cruise movie, like everyone else. I'm not out here reading radio plays from the 40s. So the alien invasion officially starts happening. They're shooting laser beams, vaporizing people.
And obviously Ice Cube's panicking, so he's texting his family saying, where are you?
He's doing his job, but his job is starting to take a second seat to like getting his children to safety.
It kind of was all day. Like he was in the middle of a raid with these people and he's like FaceTiming his daughter to make sure she has enough protein in her diet.
He's like muting one Teams call to answer a WhatsApp call with his daughter.
It was quite obvious to me that Disruptor was his son.
Okay.
I'm going to throw that out right now. It was pretty easy to guess that, mainly because this movie has 10 characters.
It was going to be Eva Longoria, the daughter, the boyfriend. It could have been the boyfriend.
He's the hero of the movie, actually.
Yes.
I'll tell you about that soon. The daughter also drops that she's in bio, that she's a genius in bio.
Bio what?
I majored in bio, remember?
And it's like, cool. That'll come up later, probably. We start having problems that he has to solve. He's making a threat level report or something for way too long
to submit to the president so that the president can make an official like call to arms. Even though if aliens were attacking the Earth, you wouldn't just be like, no, we need to wait for William in the NSA to put together this Excel spreadsheet.
For the guy that was working on a cybercrime thing.
He's the most important person in the government.
Yeah. Also, the right-clicking thing that he was doing earlier has a new trick where he can select aliens, right-click on them, and it comes up with estimated weight, like 800 tons or something. And
65
it's like,
tons.
What the fuck? But then his daughter, for some reason, goes out into the explosions.
Pregnant daughter, by the way. And then gets like, we think she gets vaporized, but a building, I guess, just falls on her and she gets like a big piece of rebar through the leg. Classic movie trope.
That's our first big threat of the movie.
First thing that happens if like a building's ever collapsing around me, I'm covering my legs to make sure rebar doesn't go through them.
He also has dumb kids though, because then shortly later, his son is also running around. He has to save the daughter while he's also texting the president.
While an alien is also walking towards her.
Because he does this by hacking Tesla, which we're like, oh no, Elon's going to be pissed. You can't just hack Teslas like that. He does that by selecting the number plate, right click, copy and paste into telstrahacker.com basically, and then paste the number plate and it says, yeah man, hack away, buddy. Multiple times he uses a password generator that just works.
Yeah. Half the movie is him being like, I need a password for this, and then opening up password generator and he just selects what he needs.
It's not really ever him being smart. It's just he always has a computer tool.
He puts his daughter in the car, or he's like, get to the car, and then like opens the door for her, sets like a course, turns on the AC for her.
Yep. The reason we think Tesla maybe okayed it for the movie was because he uses autopilot to navigate it flawlessly through this city. And you would think this city has like big traffic and like explosions going off. So like rubble, we saw a bunch of meteors hit the
people
city.
Running in the roads that the Tesla wouldn't be able to stop for because people proved that.
What's weird is that when you look anywhere except the daughter in this footage,
yes,
you can just see pedestrians going to work. You can see clear road, but they got blood all over that nice leather seats. I'm surprised there wasn't like a line of like, at least it'd be easy to clean.
Thank God it's premium leather.
That would have been good. I would have liked that. But it autopilots her perfectly safely. The hospitals are all full, so she can't go there. So she has to go to random NSA building that is safe.
Yeah, apparently. He's like, I'm finding you a safe zone.
And it's almost like filming in a hospital is hard and expensive. but this random abandoned office building outside of office hours would be cheap. I really hope the budget was low.
So now that he's got his daughter to maybe safety, well, he hacks into the boyfriend's Amazon van.
Yep.
And he's like, you need to go get my daughter. And the boyfriend's like, okay, Papa. He's like,
Okay, baby daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yep. And he's having troubles with the daughter.
There is some intertwined family stuff, like we mentioned. He's married to the job, and then he's helicopter parenting them. So he hasn't been around ever since the mum died. You know, so,
Yep.
And he's constantly, his big thing is he goes back to her Facebook every now and again and he says, I love you every year on the memories. And then he listens to her voice call, baby, remember to take out the trash and remember to take care of the kids. I love you.
The one audio recording that apparently she sent on Messenger. He never scrolls further back than that.
No.
It's like they made that account, posted those 4 things. I got to skip to it now because it's so fucking funny. But when the aliens are eating the data, and they're erasing all the systems, Facebook.com goes down. So you have a moment of him going to his wife's Facebook page, trying to scroll, like trying to replay the message, and it plays it like 4 times, and then it goes, remember
Take care of the garbage.
error 404. And he's like, this is where they use the one F-bomb they get in this PG movie. He yells, fuck! And it made me laugh so damn hard because like that's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God.
Like he never saved it. Phone messages don't exist. He's going to the source. Like people on the answering machine, that trope in movies, how like you call their number that doesn't work anymore, but it's their answering machine.
Yeah.
That's a trope because you can't just download their answering machine voice.
Well, he would be able to just right click it.
Oh, and commandeer Facebook
Commandeer,
account.
download Facebook account.
Revive wife. He probably could.
We cut to the son. So what's happening with the son? The son's been trying to contact him. He's like, Dad, I have really important stuff I have to tell you. I think I know how to fix the invasion.
I know why they're invading.
When stuff starts exploding, his son calls him back and he's like, no, I really need to tell you what's going on. And then what he ends up doing is he goes to the live video of Disruptor, downloads the audio and starts pitch shifting it and stuff, like takes off filters, applies filters, and then finds out that it sounds exactly like his son.
And he has never tried this before. He does it, he finds out it's his son, and then he calls his son and he says, it's you! And the son's like, I've been trying to tell you. Come on, I'm sorry.
They have a little fight about ethics a little bit.
Because the government's spying on you.
A big plot of this movie and what like leads into the third act is the government is creating something called Goliath.
Has created.
And that's what Disruptor was going to leak. What Goliath is it's every information about everybody, and it would be able to predict people's behaviors.
It's Captain America 2.
Yeah.
But without the big space, without the big ship in the sky that scans you. Because we already are carrying our scanning devices, I reckon. But
I love you, government.
that's shown as a bad thing. When, like, in general, yes, the government spying on you is a bad thing. But the fact that he's been spying on his daughter's son and, like, looking in their fridge. So, like, he's already doing way worse than the government probably has done. But now he's pissed at the government because he's like, dear God.
Well, yeah, he has that little ethical fight with his son where he's like, I'd rather our freedoms be violated, but terrorism stopped.
Yeah.
And the son's like, really? Because isn't invading our freedoms the terrorism we made along the way, you know?
Yeah, there's a message in this movie. It's just so terribly done.
In the original script, it was probably more about that.
Giving the aliens more of a reason that isn't just like data num-nums.
Yeah, but the aliens don't care about Goliath itself and the technology.
Yeah.
They want to drink the delicious soup that is the data, the ones and the zeros.
The government was apparently told by NASA that basically Roswell, they made a data center and an alien came to eat the data. So apparently all the other data, like all the CDs, like we've been making data forever, but apparently that didn't matter until some guy made this one record player. But Goliath matters more than all the other data centers for some reason. It's not really more data, but it's people's data.
It's been online the whole time, I guess. Like, it's not really like explained much, but like Goliath has always been operating, but they haven't been using it. So the guy was like, I'm activating Goliath and stuff.
Yes, it's not explained why Goliath is worse than what we're already doing, apart from the fact it's a predictive algorithm, maybe. But again, there's already data centers all over the world that they're draining. But for some reason, I know the reason. It's because Goliath is in the same building as Ice Cube.
Very true.
Downstairs. So he's got to go get that
It's 40 feet underground.
It's air gapped.
They'll never be able to get it. And it's shown aliens the whole movie shooting lasers into like nuclear like bases and stuff.
It's 40 feet underground. It's air gapped. But then when they do get in, they get in through the floor, which means the aliens broke in with the tentacle, went down 40 feet, went across, and then went up again. just a dumb thing, I
That's
realized.
so true.
Yeah, that's the one dumb thing in the movie, actually. What am I talking
Very
about?
true.
The whole movie is completely stupid.
So it loses 1 point for that.
Yep.
Yes.
So we're down to -7.
So Ice Cube and the Sun decide, we need to work together. He tries to reach out to his boss, who's in charge of Goliath, and he's like,
Coulson.
He's like, you knew this would happen. And then he's like, see ya, William. Thank you for your service. And then revokes all his access. So he calls his son, and his son's like, okay, fine. Gives him all of his access back, plus more.
Which the Sun never used to reveal secrets before.
Yeah.
The funniest thing about whenever they cut to government officials in this, when they first cut to Clarke Gregg, who's like the NSA advisor main guy.
He's like working out.
Yeah, he's like sweaty, and it looks like he literally actually went for a workout, and then the camera crew arrived, and they're like, hey, Mr. Gregg, we're just going to put this laptop here. Can you just read these lines real quick and go? The whole family comes together to beat the aliens. And Sandra, who's a NASA person, we again know nothing of her job apart from NASA, and that she was monitoring the weather, and she's good friends with William. She gets a microscope with the ladybugs, zooms all the way in, and they have red blood cells, and they're like, dear God, that's why the virus didn't work.
They're biotech.
Oh, that's one thing they tried to do. They
hybrids.
tried to poison the food supply. They uploaded virus.exe, literally virus.exe,
Rabbitvirus.exe.
to every data center in the world. They just did that. And then all the aliens were like, food isn't tasty. But then they realized that didn't work the first time because they're also half biological. And that's when we're like, the daughter studied bio. So he takes the daughter's virus, and then the son turns that into code because that's how viruses work. And then he doesn't have a thumb drive.
That was actually an okay scene where they're like, you just download it onto a thumb drive. And he's like, I work in a secure government building. There are no thumb drives.
There probably are thumb drives in the building. They're just not allowed to bring them in.
Yeah.
But so he doesn't have one, so he needs one. So then the Amazon delivery driver is like, I have an idea, Prime Air or Amazon Air or something. And he has just an FPV drone. And anyone that knows about anything about FPV drones, they don't go very far and they don't last very long. Like their range is not fantastic, even with the new DJI stuff. But he flies that all the way across town.
It's dodging laser beams. For some reason, the aliens are very interested in that drone.
Yeah, suddenly, because it's got data on it. Yeah, the virus is about to get hit, basically. So the Sun right-click commandeer drone, that's another hilarious thing. Every time he right-clicks to get to something, they don't have the footage of the drone getting into position or anything like that, because when he right-clicks a drone to find the Tesla, basically, that his daughter's in, the first shot we see is that it's above the Tesla immediately. And we're like, okay, it's just there. When the Sun takes over the drone, it's already flying in the city. Like everything they need is already there. Sun crashes, hit the drone into the building.
So that we could do like a smoke transition into the drone is in the building. Because it's like, the building's been locked down. There's no way in, no way out. And I'm like, how are they going to get the drone in?
Also a good ad for DJI's transmission system, because this drone flies all the way across town through a building. 40 feet down into a secure facility.
Into like a server.
And straight into Ice Cube's hands. Completely fine. The battery's like 15% still.
Oh, that's another thing I absolutely hated. Every time he commandeered a camera, it was the same layout for every camera, and every camera said 80% battery remaining.
It's almost like they just used the same filter. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
That's what I mean by lazy. Because every time the VFX looked like shit, they would just put a slight filter on it to make it like glitch. There's a bunch of the stock footage of soldiers. They put like a weird pixelation over the face because it's probably news footage that they're not technically allowed to use if they show faces.
Also, it could be people who died on deployments and stuff. It's like, we're losing the war, and it showed like a tank graveyard. Like all these tanks are like rusted with no treads and stuff. And I'm just like, huh?
There was a moment where the aliens eat a bunch of data centers, which turns off a bunch of the internet, apparently. So they show a plane just falling out of the sky.
But the news broadcast and the thing says like, pilots don't have any navigation software, planes falling out of the sky.
So
I'm like,
just imagine the pilot like looking out the window and being like, Jesus Christ.
These people who have done like thousands upon thousands of hours just to get their license to fly the plane. And they're like, no software.
And like, yeah, the cruise ships. So like these sailors don't know.
And they're all tipped over. I'm like, huh?
William's house gets destroyed because the aliens try to kill the hackers. So they basically blow up William's house where his son was bouncing the signal to. So it's a big dramatic moment of, oh no, he thinks his son's dead.
Also, I noticed the JoJo poster in the background. You weeb.
But he right-clicks on a drone nearby his house to like get a better view of his house.
Yes.
And then it's a shot of a burning building.
It blew up 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, not even. And you can very obviously see some firefighters already doing
Like
it.
fire hoses putting out the fire.
But the fact they didn't clone stamp, remove tool, they did zero work on the stock footage in this to
Crop
make
it a little bit.
Literally, zoom fucking in, dude. It was so tiny as well. That's why I'm giving this such a low score, because it pissed me off, because lazy. And even if it was made for $1 million, lazy. Because there was no crew for any of this actual filming. It's literally a webcam for most of it, or an actual iPhone, because a lot of it you can see the reflection in his glasses of a green, and that's what you get when you have anti-reflection glasses on and you're holding a screen.
Yeah,
like that's what
like
you
the
see.
blue light in the
So like
polarized lenses.
they literally didn't have a crew on set for most of this, it feels like, because it really is just him with an iPhone.
Yeah, it's just line reading off your phone, and then everything else is just like whoever is behind the scenes, like filming B-roll of like the clicking and dragging and like animating that stuff.
Ken Burns himself probably. He's like, they pulled him out. They're like, we need you again. It's like, Jesus Christ. I don't even know if he's alive. He's probably
not.
good. Love you, Ken Burns. You got me through a lot of assignments, buddy.
At the very end, so Ice Cube gets the drone. They get him into the main airtight, secure server room.
They get in by the daughter just rewinds the footage to watch someone else put
There's
their
a
key
camera
code in.
pointing at the keypad, and she's like, "It's 11147." And he's like, "Thanks." As the tentacles like climbing up his leg, and he's like, "Move, bitch, get out the way." And I'm like,
Get out the way. Yes.
I don't think that's an Ice Cube song, but that's okay. Obvious B-roll of like not Ice Cube's hand plugging in a USB, and then it's just like, oh, it's ambiguous. Is he dead? Because like months later, and it's like, thank you all for coming to my baby shower, you know. And I'm like,
still on the screen. They still did not film anything. Possibly didn't get the actors together, or they did get the actors together, but in a studio.
Yeah,
because there's a photo of them in a park, and it's very obviously not in a park.
And Evil Longoria is there.
I think maybe they actually got the people. I think they bothered to get the cast together, but it's just funny that they didn't even go to a local park. They literally all went to a studio, took some weird photos on a green screen, and then bothered to edit them. Like, my guy, that's just wasteful.
But then in the end, General Crystal's like, we want you to run your own department, more concerned about, you know, national security rather than people's information. And he's like, I'm done checking Amazon carts. And he's like, instead, I'm going after you.
Which is so weird, because Amazon has so much data on all of us. And it's weird that this movie itself is like, Amazon is not checking on you. But they do, whenever they do show Mark in his delivery van, they show like 8 cameras.
Yeah.
And that's such a big thing about that the drivers are being monitored. But he's completely fine. It's over. We see a bunch of aliens, literally like PNG.alien, just
like a rotate image. It's so bad, man.
I would think and accuse this movie of using AI for its VFX.
No, only people can make it look this ugly.
Exactly. AI would look better. Like, it would be less consistent, but honestly, this movie wasn't even overly consistent. So, 1 out of 10. This is a true 1 out of 10. It has 3.7 or a 3.4 on IMDb.
I'm never watching this movie again.
You could not force me to, but it was so funny.
It was fun to pick apart.
But you couldn't do that twice. Yeah,
No.
like I couldn't sit down and like laugh at the same.
Oh, look at this next bit coming up. It's not that.
Yeah, you shouldn't watch this. But honestly, if you have movie friends that you like laughing at bad movies, this is probably worth the one watch.
Yeah.
If you did watch it, tell us. If you watched it through this, we saved you an hour. You're welcome. But thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.